When your golden curls up next to you at night, it might look like a simple act of love. But it's much more than that. What happens during those quiet hours, when their breathing syncs with yours and their body melts against your side, is a conversation, one you probably don't even realize you're having. This isn't just comfort, it's communication written in silence, warmth, and trust. Think about it. Your dog can sleep anywhere in the house, the floor, the couch, the hallway rug. Yet night after night, they choose you. That choice isn't accidental. It's a survival instinct disguised as affection. Deep in their DNA, rooted back thousands of years to the first wolves that shared firelight with humans, there's a code: sleep beside the one you trust most. It's their way of saying, "You are my pack." But here's where it gets real. This simple act of sleeping next to you is also a biological mechanism that regulates their emotions. Studies from several universities, including one from Paris, confirm that proximity to a trusted human increases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, in both you and your dog. This is the same chemical that activates when a mother cradles her baby. So, when your golden sighs in their sleep, they're not just relaxed. Their brain is literally bathing in security. Now, let's ask an uncomfortable question. Do you notice when they don't come to your bed? Maybe you think they're just tired or warm. But sometimes, distance signals confusion or emotional dehydration. Dogs don't create emotional walls overnight. Something triggers them. Maybe a harsh tone earlier in the day, or simply a shift in your scent, your mood, or the way you touch them. They feel those micro changes like temperature shifts in the air. Listen carefully. Your golden's need to sleep near you isn't about luxury. It's an act of emotional maintenance. When you push them away too often, close the door, or move them to another room, you're not just denying physical closeness. You're forcing their brain into an alert state. Cortisol levels rise, heart rhythm adjusts, and even their REM sleep pattern changes. What you might see as independence is often silent disorientation. Here's what many owners miss. Dogs interpret separation during sleep as a loss of safety hierarchy. For them, pack sleeping means survival. A lone nap could mean danger. So, while you think you're training discipline, what you might be teaching is doubt. And doubt in a golden is dangerous. They won't rebel, they'll adapt. They'll become quieter, less expressive, and less playful. You might call it maturity. It's actually emotional shutdown. There's also something deeply symbolic about where they rest. Head near your feet means respect. Chest against yours signals protection. Back pressed to you shows total surrender. Each position is a sentence in their language, filled with subconscious meaning. And when you understand those positions, you stop speaking to your dog in commands and start listening to their feelings. That's the shift most owners never make. But don't feel guilty if you've missed these signs before. Almost everyone does. We live busy lives, and we often interpret animal behavior through human convenience, not emotional truth. What matters now is awareness. Every night is a new chance to reconnect, to say without words, "I see you." You're safe here. It takes a zero effort, but it changes everything. Remember, your golden isn't needy, they're tuned. They pick up what you radiate: stress, joy, fear, or tension. When they push closer in the middle of the night, it might not be for warmth. It might be to stabilize you. They sense your unease and spill calm back into the space between you. It's emotional osmosis, silent but potent. So tonight, before you fall asleep, notice the rhythm of their breathing. Feel the faint pressure against your leg, the quiet loyalty pressed into your skin. It's not just the dog sleeping. It's a mind syncing with yours. If this realization makes you see your nightly ritual differently, take a second. literally 2 seconds, and give your golden a gentle touch. You'll both feel it, the silent language of safety, trust, and love whispering through the dark. There's a phrase you've probably heard 1,000 times. Dogs are independent sleepers. They like their space, their bed, their freedom. But that's a lie we've told ourselves to feel less needed, less responsible for their silent emotions. The truth? Your golden isn't sleeping near you out of comfort. They're anchoring themselves to the heartbeat that defines their world. Let's be clear. Independence in dogs was never about emotional detachment. It was survival strategy. Long before cozy suburban homes and squeaky toys, wild canines slept close to their pack for warmth, protection, and cohesion. Scientists studying pack dynamics have found that even when domesticated, that instinct never leaves. So, when your golden stretches out beside you, it's not vanity. It's ancestral loyalty coded into muscle memory. But here's the dangerous twist. Somewhere along the way, modern culture decided that affection means weakness, that dogs should learn to be alone. You've probably read advice that says, "Don't let your dog sleep on your bed. It'll spoil them." The problem? That advice slowly corrodes what evolution built. You might think you're promoting discipline. In reality, you're dissolving connection. Every night you distance your golden, you teach them that trust is inconsistent. Look at it scientifically. When dogs are near their humans, brain scans show activity in the ventral striatum, the pleasure center associated with reward and safety. Move them away and cortisol levels rise. Separation isn't neutral, it's chemical imbalance. Their body interprets your absence not as a rule, but as a threat of exile. And exiled creatures don't sleep peacefully. They survive restlessly. Let's dig deeper. You might notice your golden sprawls by the door instead of the bed, tail flicking occasionally. That's not laziness, that's emotional calculation. They're torn between instinctual loyalty and learned restraint. They want to be near you but fear rejection, so they linger in proximity without crossing the line. What feels like obedience to you may actually be quiet confusion. Here's the heartbreaker. Many owners interpret that behavior as independence. They post pictures of their dogs sleeping alone saying, "He's finally grown up." But what's really happened is adaptation through disappointment. Dogs adjust, but they don't forget. They recalibrate their emotional expectations, building invisible distance to protect themselves. They stop asking for closeness they believe is unwelcome. This is where the myth becomes dangerous. Believing your golden doesn't need you leads to neglecting emotional maintenance. You feed them, walk them, maybe play fetch a few minutes, but you stop nurturing the bond that feeds their mind. Over time, their affection becomes mechanical. They wag, they obey, they wait. But inside, they start to feel alone in a crowded house. Notice the irony. We call them loyal because they stay even when misunderstood. A golden's loyalty is not proof of independence, it's evidence of emotional endurance. They wait for your warmth, like plants wait for sunlight, patient, still, and quietly desperate. Ignore that long enough, and something inside them wilts. You won't see it immediately, but you'll feel it. A dullness in their eyes, a slower response to your voice, a fading sparkle in their joy. So if someone tells you that letting your dog sleep beside you ruins discipline, show them the data in your golden's eyes. Show them what trust looks like when it breathes beside you, steady and calm. Discipline without connection creates compliance, not bond. And bonds, once broken, take more than treats or routines to rebuild. They require you to rewrite what intimacy means in your household. The real strength lies not in creating distance, but in balancing presence. You can teach boundaries without freezing affection. You can give independence without enforcing solitude. The secret is mutual awareness, understanding when your golden needs touch and when they need space, and giving both freely without guilt or rules. That's the science of trust. Because at the end of the day, your golden doesn't crave authority, they crave assurance. They don't need to be alone to feel strong. They need to know you'll still be there when darkness falls. So tonight, when they nudge your arm or drop their weight beside you, don't see it as dependence. See it as the highest form of trust evolution has ever produced. And if that realization hit you right in the heart, take a deep breath. You're finally starting to see your golden the way they've always seen you. At first, it feels innocent, your golden pressing closer every night, following you from room to room, resting their head on your lap every time you sit down. It's comforting, heart-melting even. But slowly, that warmth can transform into a silent dependency that neither of you notices. Comfort turns into craving, and what once was love becomes emotional addiction. You might call it bonding, but your golden's nervous system calls it survival mode. Constant contact triggers oxytocin, yes, but without balance, it locks their brain into a feedback loop. They begin to believe that peace only exists when you're near, and panic kicks in when you leave. It's not love they're feeling in those moments of separation. It's withdrawal. This is where it gets tricky, because dependency doesn't always show itself in dramatic ways. Sometimes it looks like whining when you close the bathroom door. Sometimes it's pacing at midnight, ears twitching for the sound of your footsteps. Other times, it's in the way they don't eat unless you're home. You think it's cute, almost flattering, but what you're witnessing is emotional dehydration. When a dog loses control of their comfort zone, cortisol levels rise, heartbeat quickens, and the body moves into alert state. The brain stops prioritizing rest and starts preparing for loss. You might not see the physiological toll immediately, but over time it shows through dull fur, restless sleep, digestive sensitivity, even shallow breathing. They're not being dramatic. Their biology is screaming for stability. And yet, who can blame them? You've built a world where their every joy depends on your presence. Walks, meals, affection, all delivered through your timing, your energy, your mood. They learn to orbit you like the sun, measuring their worth by your attention. But when that sun sets, when you step out for work or shut the door too soon, darkness feels like punishment. Here's what breaks my heart. Owners often confuse this imbalance with loyalty. They think, my golden just loves me that much. But love shouldn't make either side anxious. When your dog can't sleep unless you're there, that's not comfort. That's captivity dressed as devotion. It's an emotional chain made of kindness, but it still binds. The good news is you can fix it. The same way dependency develops gradually, balance can return with consistency. Create moments of alone time every day, just 5 or 10 minutes, where your golden stays in one room while you do something in another. Keep it normal, keep your energy calm. Over time, their nervous system rewires. They start learning safety even in solitude. You're not neglecting them by doing this. You're protecting them from emotional exhaustion. Dogs with balanced attachment sleep deeper, play harder, and recover faster from stress. Their trust expands beyond your presence and starts including your absence. That's not independence. That's healthy security. You're training their mind to breathe without clutching. Pay attention to subtle cues of dependence. Do they panic when you pick up your keys? Do they shadow your every move from couch to counter? Those are red flags, not proof of love. Remember, anxiety can wear the mask of affection. If your golden looks restless even when they're beside you, what they might be craving isn't touch, it's reassurance. But before guilt creeps in, pause and breathe. You're not a bad owner for not knowing this before. Every person who loves deeply risks crossing that invisible line between nurture and need. What matters is awareness, knowing when to step back just enough to keep love from becoming survival. Boundaries don't weaken connection, they preserve it. So tonight, when those soft eyes follow you as you stand to leave the room, don't feel sorry. Speak gently, move calmly, let them wait. When you come back, reward their patience with calm affection, not frantic excitement. That balance, space without abandonment, contact without dependency, is the truest form of emotional protection you can offer. If this makes you rethink how clinginess really feels, then tonight might be the first night your golden truly relaxes. Not beside you, but because of you. When your golden presses their body against you during sleep, it's not just affection, it's strategy. That gentle pressure, that stillness, it's their ancient armor in action. Deep inside their nervous system lies a blueprint from their wild ancestors, a code that links physical touch to emotional protection. To them, closeness equals safety, and safety equals survival. But let's challenge a common thought. Is your golden protecting you, or are they protecting themselves through you? The truth is, it's both. The warmth of your body becomes their perimeter, like a living fortress built from love and trust. And when you move, they sense the shift instantly, scanning the room with half-open eyes because the defender in them never really sleeps. This behavior isn't random. It's instinct blending with emotion. In wolves, only trusted pack members sleep close to the alpha. In domestic dogs, that instinct mutated from hierarchy into attachment. So when your golden rests their paw over your leg or leans their head near your chest, they're not dominating. They're ensuring mutual survival. You're not the master in that moment. You're the anchor. What's fascinating is how the brain translates touch into emotional armor. Physical contact triggers the parasympathetic system, slowing heart rate and calming stress hormones. But emotionally, it sends a louder message. You're not alone in this storm. The same way humans feel grounded by a hug, your golden finds stability through skin contact. Their body literally fortifies itself through proximity. Yet, if that bond is disrupted suddenly, the armor cracks. Think about nights when you travel, or when stress keeps you distant. Your golden senses the gap before you do. Their body stiffens slightly, breathing patterns change, and during sleep they twitch more, as if fighting invisible battles. You see, protection for them isn't optional. It's the essence of how they exist beside you. Now here's the paradox. The very instinct that shields them can also exhaust them. Constant vigilance drains energy. Even affection, if tied to defense, can become emotional labor. That's why balance is crucial. If your golden always sleeps with one ear tuned to every sound, their nervous system never fully rests. You might think they're guarding you out of devotion, but they might be silently burning out. So how do you tell the difference between love-driven closeness and anxiety-fueled protection? Pay attention to the small signals. A relaxed protector stretches freely, sighs often, and changes positions during the night. An anxious guardian lies tense, ears twitching, sometimes panting softly even when it's cool. That's not peace. That's duty at a biological cost. Your job is to transform duty back into ease. Start by changing how you respond. Instead of speaking to them only when they seek attention, initiate calm contact before they feel the need to act as your shield. Soft strokes on the shoulder, gentle pressure on their side. This resets their body language from guard to coexist. Every touch that happens in peace teaches their brain that safety doesn't always mean vigilance. And remember, your golden doesn't wear armor made of fur or bark. It's emotional steel forged from years of reading you. When you're anxious, they stand taller. When you breathe heavily, they scan the room. They mirror what you feel, not because they want to mimic, but because they want to carry half of your load. That's love in its purest, most exhausting form. So tonight, when they curl against you, don't just smile and say, "So cute." Recognize the ancient intelligence behind that gesture. Appreciate the soldier and the soul in one golden body. Whisper something that grounds them, not commands but comfort. Maybe as simple as, "You can rest now." Because that's what they've been waiting to hear all along. Permission to let their emotional armor soften, just for a while. After everything you've learned, here's the paradox. The bond between you and your golden can begin to break in silence, but it can also heal in seconds. All it takes is 2 seconds of intention, not grand gestures or complex routines. This tiny ritual, done every night, rewires trust, stabilizes emotion, and reminds your golden that love isn't loud, it's consistent. And yet, it's the step most owners skip. Think of those seconds before sleep, when the room goes quiet and your dog shifts beside you. Their body language softens, their breathing evens out, waiting subconsciously for a final signal. Are we safe tonight? That's your moment. Instead of turning away, reach out and rest your hand on their chest or behind their ear for a count of 2. That touch is a language older than words, telling their nervous system, the world is calm. You can rest now. You might think 2 seconds can't do much, but neuroscience disagrees. In that moment, oxytocin rises again, cortisol drops, and the bond cycles back into equilibrium. Their heartbeat slows to match yours, literally sinking as the parasympathetic system takes command. What follows isn't just sleep, it's emotional reset. It's the ancient ritual of reassurance that wild canines performed centuries ago, now reborn in your modern home. This simple act changes how they dream, how deeply they rest, and how confidently they face tomorrow. You'll notice it. The next day, they move closer more gently. They seek less attention, yet feel more at peace. Because reassurance teaches independence. When safety is confirmed at the end of the day, they no longer seek proof in every moment. They feel it lingering like invisible warmth around them. But it's not only about what your touch does to them, it's about what it does to you. Those 2 seconds pull you out of your phone, your worries, your racing thoughts. They remind you that love in its purest form doesn't need to be planned or filmed or posted. It just happens quietly, between 2 living beings that trust each other enough to close their eyes. The magic of the ritual isn't in the gesture, it's in the consistency. Do it night after night, same time, same calm energy. Your golden will start anticipating it, that slow, grounding signal that says their world hasn't changed. Even when you're late, even when your day was chaos, that tiny pause maintains the emotional thread between you. It's the anchor neither of you knew you needed. You see, trust isn't built in big moments. It's reinforced in small ones. Dogs don't need speeches. They need rhythm, predictable actions that confirm emotion. That's why 2 seconds matter more than 2 minutes of distraction. It's the pause that creates presence, the silence that speaks louder than any command. Over time, they'll start sleeping deeper, sighing more often, carrying themselves with quiet confidence instead of anxious energy. So yes, the science explains it. Hormones, synchronization, instincts. But at its core, this ritual is about heart. It's about giving your golden the closure they need each night, reminding them that peace is shared. When you reach for them at that moment, you're not spoiling them. You're stabilizing them. You're telling them that loyalty wasn't a mistake, that love has structure, that protection goes both ways. And here's the twist. When you do this long enough, you'll realize you needed it too. Those 2 seconds start feeding your own nervous system, grounding your emotions, easing your mind before sleep. It becomes your mutual recharge, a A signal that no matter how chaotic the world feels outside, there is still safety here. 2 seconds of touch, 2 hearts in sync. That's not routine, it's renewal. So tonight, before you scroll, before you turn off the light, just try it. 2 seconds, 1 gentle touch, 1 slow breath. No training, no words, no expectations. If this small act makes you pause, if it reminds you that your golden's trust is sacred, then you've already saved the bond. Quietly, completely, and beautifully, in less time than it takes to blink twice.